My age, I'm a few months shy of 65. I'm approaching the end of my journey. The first part of what I am going to do here is to leave a little information about who I am, followed by wisdom, what I have been given and am supposed to give to you, my spiritual brothers, and you, my spiritual sisters. Things that I have learned through science, through ancient wisdom, epitomized by religion, amongst other sources, and science being observation, and by rational dialectics. But before I begin with that information, let me give you a brief idea as to who I am. I grew up in a small town, 3,000 people, very religious town, which did not stick with me. Went to college, supported myself through college, had no assistance from family. My parents had no money. Went on to, was going to be a doctor, and then found it too difficult. And went into teaching, loved teaching. First year was very difficult. After that, just fell in love with it. Taught middle school. Got my bachelor's of science from the University of Michigan, and got my master's in science from Eastern Michigan University, and taught school for 30 years and was a math science department chair for 20 of those years in conjunction with teaching. I had very little background in philosophy. Didn't want background in philosophy, was not interested in philosophy. But I was very interested in reality and what reality was. And I participated in a great number of philosophical dialectics. And I will go into later a little about who those dialectics were participated with. In terms of my personal background, I've been married for 36 years, 39 years. Great little lady. She accepted me for who I was and loved me for who I was. And what better a companion through life could one have? I have 3 children, 2 boys, a girl. And I have retired from teaching. I have been in private. I have had a private business. Retired from that. And have committed my life the last 15 years to the dispersal of what it is I have learned. You can find a great deal of my work on my site www.panentheism.com, P-A-N-E-N-T-H-E-I-S-M. You can find additional information at addingreasontofaith.blogharbor.com. I'm starting a new website. This is the beginning of it. The new website is going to be given the domain name theosopher.com. And on another day I will give information regarding why theosopher.com. In the meantime, let me just say that Basically, that gives you a pretty good idea as to who I am, other than when I was 16, I developed extreme panic attacks, which led me to a form of social isolationism, which gave me time to think. Gave me a great deal of time to think and analyze. And what was it I was thinking about and analyzing? It was reality itself. My latest book, Understanding Reality, is the outcome of that, along with my 7 other books, which you will find at my website. All the material on my website is free. Free for download, free for dispersal, free for educational institutions to use as a nucleus of philosophical thinking and social solutions to social issues. Now one might say, well, how could you teach for 30 years if you had extreme panic attacks? That's an interesting topic, but just to touch on it briefly, when I began teaching in 1967, they needed teachers so badly they would take anybody. And as it was, teachers were left in the classroom at that time to their own discretion, and they were not supervised. And because of that, I had no authority figures to put pressure on me. And the kids, being middle school kids, were young and non-threatening and extremely interesting. And I just grew to love that age group. But I'm not here to discuss my educational teaching background. Rather, I'm here to discuss what I have learned in 65 years through the process of analyzing reality personally without being influenced by the ivory towers of academia. And with that, the next talk will give some brief information regarding why the Theosopher.com.